Yes, come on, come on, come on, come on in. Come on, come on, come on, come on in. We are live. We are live. We are live. Welcome to episode 4 of the Love Walk Approach. I am your host, the Inspirational Treasure, known to some as Apostle Shalonda Treasure, Prophet Shalonda, Coach Treasure, Shalonda Treasure Williams Leonard, the #1 best-selling author. I wear a lot of hats, but we sum all of that up by saying hello, Inspirational Treasure. So come on in and say hello to me. Welcome to this space. Welcome to this space. Welcome to this space. Come on in. Oh, after you say hello, go ahead and share with those that you believe need to be here today. You already see the topic for today's session. We are talking about forgiveness today. This is our O in Love Walks, right? Remember our statement of affirmation or understanding with the Love Walk approach is that love walks among us, as us, and for us. For those of you who do not know, I attribute God and love to be synonymous, spirit and love and God to be synonymous, all of those things. When you hear me say either, I am talking about one and the same. And I believe that God is the answer, right? But that statement has kind of got redundant. People are like, well, if God is this and God is that, then why is this happening? Why is that happening? So I believe that's because we don't have a full understanding. And so we talk about love. When I'm saying love, yep, I'm talking about the great I am. I'm talking about the one, the all in all, the one that is everything that exists. And so there is a cohesiveness that goes along with this existence. And in order for us to live this life out cohesively, we have to be grounded in our oneness. And so love is synonymous with God for me. And so God walks among us, as us, for us. And so I say love walks. And that acronym is what has created the pillars of the Love Walk approach. Last week, we talked about living out vibrant empathy. So the L is for living out vibrant empathy. We talked about that last week, putting yourself in other people's shoes, walking a mile in someone else's moccasins, right? As the Indian Native American proverb says. And so beginning to see things through the eyes of another individual, it may not be the first thing you want to do, but it's necessary to come to a place of understanding, of relatability, of resonation, right? We want to be able to understand someone else, their culture, their background, the reason why they make the decisions that they make. That's what empathy does. But we don't just want to be empathetic. We don't just want to have empathy. We want to do so with purpose and intentionally. That's where the word vibrant comes in. Vibrant empathy, meaning that I'm game. I'm with it. I'm with it. If somebody come to you and say, hey, let's play a game of such and such, and you really like that game, you got some vibrant energy going on about you, right? It's an anxiousness. It's almost like an excitement. And so, yes, I'm asking us to live with excited empathy, vibrant empathy, the thing that says, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to know more about you so that I cannot get frustrated with every decision that you make, so that I cannot be judgmental about every decision that you make. And some things I may still not understand about you in the long run, but at least I'm willing to try to understand. Everybody in this world is trying to be understood in some way, shape, or form. Right? Back in the day, we remember, those of us who are African American, we have definitely heard the stories about what it was like trying to get inclusion, what it was like trying to get our civil rights and to have us taken seriously. And so we made signs, we picketed, we boycotted, we denied others what they could get from us because, hey, if you don't want me in your life, then you don't want my services. So we did a lot of things to get them to understand this is who we are, because we wanted what? Inclusion. Gay pride happens right now, and those who are judgmental about that, the religious communities mostly, those who are raised to believe that it shouldn't be that way, they're fighting against the preference or their right to have the preference that they desire. But yet they're still going to march. They're still going to have gay pride. They're still going to do the things that says, hey, guess what? We are the ones who are directing your choirs and playing your instruments. We are the ones that's doing your hair. We are the ones that's designing your outfits and your uniforms. We are the one who's bringing our services to your job. And so if us as my preference bothers you so much, then you just don't want me. But so when you begin to put yourself in a place of living out vibrant empathy, what you're saying is, I'm not saying that I'm going to be like you or my preference will ever be your preference, but I understand. I understand that you want to feel included because, hey, my ancestors marched so we can be included. Right? So when you use vibrant empathy, you begin to relate to someone else in the place where you can meet. So if you did not watch episode number 3, you can actually go back and start from episode 1, where I introduce what it is that we're doing, what we're going to be doing through this podcast. And I feel a certain excitement about it today because I feel all the way live. Like it's okay for you to give this message, to teach this message. Nope, everybody's not going to understand it. Sometimes, can I be honest with y'all? I don't understand everything that God is saying immediately. But I know that if he's saying it, then it's relevant. I know that it's something that I may need to pay attention to. So you can go back to episode 1 and start from there and start to understand the rhythm in which we are moving, what the love walk approach means, why this is a movement, why it is that God gave it to me, and why I have to stand boldly in it, right? Why this is the example that I believe that Christ Yahshua was trying to give to us. It wasn't about starting a whole new religion, being more separated than we already were. It was about bringing unity. When he talked to the teachers of religious law and the Pharisees and the Sadducees, he was giving them instructions on how to live out what the laws actually were meant for. They weren't meant to bring more separation and to make us self-righteous and to make us think that we're the ruler and the governor over everybody in this life. No, it was intended for us to go within ourselves, recognize that thing that we may be contributing to the world that's bringing toxicity. Yes. And understand that, hey, the principles that you work that are great, because he would talk to them. He said, y'all are careful to tithe the 10th of everything you have. In other words, you got that principle down pat. The principle of giving a percentage of what you gain to the people who are there with your spiritual governance or help or whatever. The principle is great, but you neglect justice. You're careful to work the principle, and most likely you're careful to work the principle because it works for you in some way. But you neglect fairness. You neglect righteousness. Righteousness is fairness. It's uprightness, justice, right? Because God is no respecter of persons. Always righteous, always holy, because his intentions are always pure. But I need you to redirect your heart so that we can bring the oneness back. The separation and division was never what it was. Love was always supposed to be the governing authority in our lives. So we're here to talk about it. Episode 2, I believe I introduced the pillars that we're going to be talking about. I went through all 9 of them and began to explain a little bit of each piece. Almost got caught up when I got to certain ones. And then last week on episode 3, we discussed the first pillar, which was living out vibrant empathy. Well, today we are talking about offering forgiveness generously. Offering forgiveness generously. Y'all go ahead and share this one more time before we get into it. We are only here on this Love Walk Outreach Global channel, so there's nobody tapping in from Facebook. So if you got Facebook and you want them here, you're gonna have to invite them. You're gonna have to go over there or share this to your Facebook page and say, hey, we're about to talk about forgiveness, offering forgiveness. If you want some healing, if you want to walk in love, meet us over here at Love Walk Outreach Global's page with your host, the Inspirational Treasure, Apostle Shalonda, if you know her as that, Prophet Shalonda, if you know her as that, Shalonda Treasure Williams, the author, if you know her as that, Coach T, Coach Treasure, if you know her as that. She's over here chatting it up with us, just keeping it real practical, helping us to understand how to coexist in this world. I see there are a couple of people on here, but I do not see that you have said hello to me. So if you are here while you are sharing, go ahead and say hello to me. Go ahead and say hello to me while we try to get some people in this room. Blessings upon blessings, Rashida, sweetheart. While I'm asking y'all to share, I'm doing the same. Right now, I am typing. We are live for the Love Walk Approach podcast with your host, the Inspirational Treasure. If that message works with you, go ahead and write the same, type the same. I'm going to add my purple and my orange heart because that's my signature. So you don't have to add the purple and the orange heart, but definitely go ahead and invite them over. I'm tapping send. I'm tapping send. I'm tapping send. Y'all go ahead and do share. And we will be here waiting for others to come in and join in with the conversation. The Love Walk Approach. The Love Walk Approach. Come on in and do share. So the message today, again, we are offering forgiveness generously. Now, a lot of the things that I'm going to say today, just like with every episode that we're going to have, is going to challenge something on the inside of you. It is going to challenge your conviction in some way, shape, or form, and it's supposed to do that. Not to bring about guilt or shame, because guilt or shame is unnecessary when you're going through the healing. So, let me say this: guilt and shame needs to be healed along with everything else that we're holding. So this is not a space for you to feel like you're being forced to take the information. This is a space where, hey, I believe that I want this world to be a better place, and I understand that it must start within me first. I want the world to be a better place, but it must start within me first. So being here for this conversation is helping us to understand that, hey, this is not about trying to fix everything, fix everybody. It's about going inward, because God has spoken. They come near to me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. We see it in other scriptures and chapters where, hey, they were trying to look at the outward appearance of a thing, which most of us do. We look at the outward appearance. We look at the acting outs of people, and we judge everything based on that. We hold on to the traumas and the pain and the issues of our life based on the outward act. But all of us are going to be a villain at some time or another. We're all going to be the offender at some time or another. When you are on purpose, going within your heart, examining your heart, we might say, God, search my heart. God, search my heart. Well, the kingdom of God is within you. So what you're saying is, from the inside, God, search me. Allow me to see me. Let me see what the traumas of my past has done. Let me see what it's caused my heart to feel. Let me see the anxiety that causes me to have a certain acting out or reaction. Let me see the pain of the past that has caused me to act out in certain situations. We today are talking about the inside out, because guess what? The forgiveness is going to have to start within you. You may not like everything that I am going to say today, but if you trust the heart of this prophet, this apostle, this vessel, then you know that this is only because we've got it all misconstrued. And I'm here to set the record straight as God allows. So today it is my prayer. I want you to go ahead and take a deep breath in. And go ahead and settle within yourself that she's probably going to say some things that's going to make me look at myself. It's going to make me examine myself. I might feel a little touched by it. It may make me angry. Why is it that she sees it from this perspective? Well, is she trying to say I need to blame myself for everything that happened? I do not want you to twist my words. Blessings, Mari. I don't want you to twist my words. I want you to take what it is that I'm saying. I want you to weigh it against the things that you may have been telling yourself over time. And then ask yourself the question, does this really work for me? Does this really work for me? Has it been the thing that has caused there to be healing and wholeness in my life? The answer is no. Then we're just here to have a conversation. So go ahead and resolve it within yourself that I'm not here to feel offended. I'm not here to be mad. I'm here so that my life is taking on a whole nother existence because the one that I've been living has crippled me in some way, shape, or form. Blessings upon blessings, Logan. Hey, Lo. Blessings, Destiny. Blessings, Quantina. Thank y'all for joining. Go ahead and do share. Again, this is the only place where we are tapping in from. This Love Walk Outreach Global page here on the on YouTube. So if you are on Facebook and you believe there's somebody on Facebook that needs to join you for this conversation on forgiveness today, then tag them in here. Send it on. If there are certain people in your inbox and you like, or in your text message, in your phone, and you may say, we may not want to talk about forgiveness, but hey, this is a conversation that needs to be had. Go ahead and get them in the room. If you are here for the first time on this page, please go ahead and do like, share this, subscribe to this page, click that bell to get all notifications for when we are live. Welcome to the Love Walk Approach. Welcome to the Love Walk Approach. All right. So the Love Walk Approach is a movement. It's probably no different than the movement of the Christ situation when Christ came to reform the generation that he was born into. Christ Jesus, Christ Yahshua, whichever one you subscribe to. He came to a generation of people who knew that they knew God, understood God, and they felt like they did. And they did. They wrote down some of the things that he gave them as instructions. They wrote down their testimonies and their experiences with God. They felt like they had it pegged. And here comes this person that they have said is the Messiah. And he is bringing them a message that makes them totally uncomfortable because there is a reformation. There is a deconstruction so that a reconstruction can happen. Blessings, Kiara. So he's doing it. It's a movement. And he's saying, I'm not here to abolish your law. I'm not here to tell you not to live according to the law that has been written by your forefathers and all of that. But I'm here to sum it up for you. Hey, love. That's a summation of every law and every prophet, everything that's ever been written. And that doesn't just go for scriptures in the Bible. That goes for any text that has ever been written before the Bible ever came about, back probably millions of years ago, where God is the same. And we know God to be love. They're synonymous. And so the Love Walk approach is simply saying to the whole world, God, love is the answer. The answer to every question, the solution to every problem, the healing for every wound. We have come to know separation. We have come to know them against me, that group against my group, that church against my church, that religion against my religion, that culture against my culture, that race against my race, that gender against my gender, that sexual orientation against my sexual orientation. We see through the eyes of competition to the point where we are willing to kill each other over it. But yet everybody's screaming for a solution. Well, the Love Walk approach is here to help us bring this message of Christ Yahshua and every other Love Walk agent that has come along trying to give this message. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Love Walk agent. He came to spread a message of equality by saying to those who were being the offender, hey, check your heart concerning us. We are the ones that are working your programs. We are the ones that have worked your fields. We are the ones. And even in other generations, believe it or not, the same people who enslaved us have been enslaved themselves. And so maybe they were trying to give the same message to their oppressor. When Moses went to set the people of Israel free from the Egyptians, it was the same. They were being oppressed by a different culture of people. And then liberation comes. But then the message became one of fight or flight. It became a one of war. It became a message of, oh, let's get them before they get us. We are fighting a war. We're holding on to offenses and they're lasting for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. No forgiveness. No hate. No empathy. Just me against you, you against me. Understand me, but I'm not trying to understand you. Hear my journey and hear my story, but I'm turning a blind ear to yours, a blind eye to yours, a deafening ear to you. And the gap in between us all continues to grow. And some of y'all can relate to what I'm talking to. First, it starts with across the pulpit, talking about other faiths, other religions, other people. If it doesn't fit your standard of living, if it doesn't fit what you and your culture of people have going on, then it's an offense to you and you begin to lash out. Well, let's go in a little bit further. Y'all fighting about the faiths and the religions, and then you get inside the church, and now my church is better than your church. My choir is better than your choir. Blessings, Bree. Blessings for Lawn. One love. One God. Absolutely. My family inside the church. First, we from church to church. My church better than yours. My pastor better than yours. Our choir better than yours. And inside the church, my family better than yours. My daughter got more trophies, more medals. We better than you. Your snotty attitude, you bumped my child on the way by. So now there's a whole grudge with the family inside the church that's judging the other church, inside the religion that's judging the other religion, inside the world where we all coexist. And instead of us figuring how to coexist together, we're learning more and more strategy on how to be separate. So now we hold grudges about everything. Now I can't forgive you because you did this to me, but you totally forget about the offense that you caused to somebody else just probably 2 days ago because of your own attitude. So instead of us dealing from the inside out, we're projecting our anger from the outside in. And either we are going to make a decision to change the direction of our lives so that we can heal the land. God says, if my people who are called by my name would humble themselves, pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, then I can hear from heaven and I'll heal the land. What is he saying? Because there's not a people that exists. There's not an individual that exists. There's not an orientation that exists. There's not an idea that exists. There's not a culture that exists or a race that exists that could exist if God did not manifest it. So don't we sound a little bit silly when we're making it seem as if one is better than the next? My God is better than your God when there's only one God? Because your idea is different. So the love walk approach is saying, hey, love walks among us as us for us. Love is one. God is one. Let's figure this thing out. Some of y'all are just joining me, and I was mentioning you can go back and watch episode 1 through 3, where we introduced the love walk approach and the pillars. And last week we started with living out vibrant empathy. Today we are talking about offering forgiveness generously. These words may throw you off, right? You already resolved that you don't even want to forgive them for what they did, because what they did was so awful. It was so bad. It was way worse than anything I would ever do. Anybody ever say stuff like that? I know I done did some stuff in my life, but I would never do what they did. As if you know. You ain't lived past never yet. There is no living past never. Never is final. Never is that word that we use when we are so concrete on what we think we would never do. But there are people right now that's in prison for doing things that they said they would never do. Right? Women who may have killed a husband, even though they said they would never do anything to hurt anybody until they were in the situation where they were trying to save their lives because the person was being aggressive and they had to make a split second decision. Do I do this to them or do I die? So they did the thing that they said they would never do. A person who says, I'll never cheat, I'll never this, I will never do that. And then you walked into a situation with a person during one of the hardest times of your marriage and y'all were not on good speaking terms and you felt neglected and he felt neglected and everybody felt like they wasn't getting what they needed. And then all of a sudden here comes this person and they're giving you all this attention and they're saying all the right things and they're telling you all the things that they would do that your spouse probably is not going to do. And then all of a sudden you fall into this temptation because you yielded to your brokenness. I would never make that decision with my kids. I would never make my kids do this. I would never make, we all got a never until we're in the situation. And then when we act on that temptation or we act on that situation, now we want to be understood and we want the grace and we want to be forgiven. But yet we have failed to forgive the people in our lives that have done the offensive thing. Y'all don't have to say amen, but you can say ouch if you want to. You can say, well, dang. That's my word, y'all. I don't say aha. When they say you got an aha moment, just be like, ooh, that was an aha moment. Just say, well, dang. You may be saying, well, dang, because you didn't look at it like that before. You may be saying, well, dang, because it touched on a sore space in your life. You may be saying, well, dang, because God is causing something that's infested inside your heart to come up and out. Whatever your reason, own it today if it belongs to you. Yes, Destiny, blessings upon blessings for being a partner with Love Walk Outreach Global. I am grateful. I appreciate it. Thank you for believing in the vision. So whatever it is that you need to say, I need you to participate in this conversation. If you can relate, say I can relate. If you can't and you just taking it in, it's okay. But be present because we need to hear this. If you make a judgment call out of your place of brokenness, most of the time it's because you experienced something growing up, you experienced some type of trauma, you experienced something that really threw you off. When I was growing up, I was bullied. When I was growing up, I was kind of treated, mistreated by people, adults and kids alike. And all of that sounds like, and I will share that story. Of course, I don't appreciate that I was bullied and I don't appreciate that I was mistreated, but I can't tell a part of the story without telling the whole story. In order to tell the whole story, I'm going to have to say that, yes, there was a time when I was the villain in somebody's world. They felt oppressed by me because I took the brokenness from being bullied and I then began to gain this tough skin, have this attitude, cause some type of be rebellious in my life, bucking against a system because I felt hurt. I felt pain, but they did it. They bullied me. So it's their fault. No. Could they have been wrong in the situation? Absolutely. But do I then become the very thing that hurt me and still complain and not forgive? That means I'm somehow self-righteous. That means somehow I feel like I've never been the one to offend another. I'll give you a story. I'll give you an example. When I was about 5th grade, and I had been being bullied since I was in, I don't fully remember kindergarten, so I'm not going to say kindergarten. I think I do remember liking somebody in kindergarten and they didn't like me back. And so I got an attitude and then I was in my feelings and I probably had an attitude with other people, right? So not going so far back, but I remember as far back as 1st grade, there was a boy named Jamie Kitchen. I liked Jamie Kitchen, but Jamie Kitchen liked Kimberly. I didn't like the fact that he liked her more, but I began to look at the clothes that she was wearing, how she had a Jerry curl, so she wear her hair cute. And I liked her as a person. I wanted her to be my friend, but she was the popular girl. And so everybody liked her. He liked her. He didn't like me. The boys that did like me, and y'all, yes, I'm talking about first grade, but the boys that did, because this is real life and we liked each other back then. The boys that did like me, I didn't like them, so I rejected them. In other words, I gave them the cold shoulder. I pushed them away. Don't touch me, don't bother me, don't mess with me, because my eyes were set on Jamie Kitchen. The Jamie Kitchen like Kim. In my feelings and emotions, in my feeling offended because I felt rejected by him because he liked somebody else. Instead of course, at 6 years old, you wasn't thinking about nobody preferences, right? So I wasn't thinking, oh, he got the freedom to choose who he liked and not to be offended because he didn't like me. No, I took it as it was. I felt offended. But I wasn't paying attention to the fact, of course, that the boys that liked me, I was mistreating. I was rejecting. Doesn't mean that I had to change my preference, but I didn't have to mistreat them. Just simply put, I didn't like them. Now that's first grade, right? Still a kid, still trying to mature, still trying to grow up. So that's a practical understanding. Well, got to fifth grade, still being bullied, pushed around by certain people. They wanted me to join up with them, and if I wanted to not be bullied, then I needed to be a part of their clique, a part of their crew. And so one time, a friend of mine, her name was April. Her and her brother were both in the same grade with us. They were heavy-set people, very nice, and we were friends through all of school until this one particular day where my bullies basically wanted me to go push her around. And I did because I wanted to fit in with them. I didn't want to be rejected no more. I didn't want to be bullied around. I didn't want to be pushed around. I didn't want to get fought all the time. And so I decided to take that pain of mine, and I started pushing around my friend. Well, April got so heated, probably more so because I was supposed to be her friend. And she pushed me against this wall, and she grabbed me and she picked me up. I think my feet was probably about a whole quarter of an inch off the ground. And she was, and tears was running down her face. And interestingly enough, I'm not a bully. So I'm feeling all of these emotions come from her because I chose, based on what was in my heart, to bully my friend. And it hurt her. Later on in life, and I'm going to go all the way to when I was, Andreas is almost 20. So this was, 20 years ago, about 19, 20 years ago. I was delivering pizzas for Domino's. And I had an order, went to take it to the people's house. The person who answered the door, I was like, oh my God. It was April's brother, the one we went to school, the one I went to school with. So we're starting this conversation. We straightened up this conversation and we're just talking, shooting the breeze. And I asked about her, of course, how's April? Because, of course, we had to reconcile all of that. I apologized to her for bullying her back then, just so y'all know. I didn't just, I apologized, not just because she picked me up off the ground, but because she was my friend and I was wrong. Well, by this time, I'm delivering. I asked about her, and I knew from the look on his face that the news he was about to give me was not good. I knew that it was not good. And he said it. April died. And I said, oh my God, was she sick? What happened? Dang. Nope, she committed suicide. Now, I know that me bullying her in fifth grade was probably not the straw that broke the camel's back because she lived into adulthood. But I don't know whether or not the bullying from fifth grade was still something in her remembrance. Because we can hold grudges, we can hold pain for a very, very, very long time. But what I did know is that I bullied her that one day and that one moment, and we reconciled. But there were bullies in her life all the time because she was a heavy-set girl. Because people pushed her around because she had this thing that they considered to be a deficit. And so when he said that to me, I spent the whole rest of the night driving and riding and making deliveries in tears. The only thing I could think about is the stuff that happened. I thought about what I did to her, and I thought about what other people probably. So I, all of a sudden, though I had long ago reconciled this thing, I started feeling awful about myself again. Unforgiveness was thick. I felt bad. I went through all the scenarios. I'm like, God, and of course, my relationship with God is strong at this point, and I'm thinking about the situation, and God immediately told me that I could not hold on to that. Because if you make yourself responsible for this thing that happened, then you're never going to forgive yourself. You're not going to be able to live your life through. It seemed at the time that that statement was selfish. Well, God, but still, shouldn't I feel this thing or shouldn't I feel that? No. Forgive yourself for what happened when you were 10. Some of you have done things. Now, I explained my whole scenario. Y'all know I was bullied. Y'all know I felt rejected. Y'all know I wanted to fit in with the bullies so that I didn't get fought no more. I made a decision in that pain to bully my friend. I started feeling all of these feelings because she was gone. I didn't get to meet her ever again. I didn't get to see her and ask her about her time and see if she succeeded in her life. She made a decision at some point that she couldn't deal with life anymore, and she ended her life. That brought back all of these feelings and all of these emotions, but unforgiveness was one of them. Can I tell you that we're not going to heal nothing if we're not honest about the whole scenario, the whole situation? Can I tell you that we can place the blame every place else, but if we're not going within ourselves and really dealing with ourselves about our stuff, then we're going to keep ruminating on the same things over and over again? Well, in that moment, when God says, no, you can't take that upon yourself, I had to work through forgiving myself for succumbing to my circumstances. Somebody type it in the chat. I have to forgive myself for giving into the circumstances. I gave in to the circumstances. I didn't want to be bullied anymore. I didn't want to be pushed around anymore because I was this nice kid. I told you they used to call me a do girl because they could ask me to do something and I would always do stuff for them. And that was a mark of shame back then. So I got bullied for it. So in my being bullied, I'm trying to escape being bullied. And so I made this decision. It was the only time I did it. Well, no, I did it to Marco and Carrie for a while. But you take, and this is the point that I'm trying to make. We have experiences in our life, and Mari, I see you, and so am I. I may carry it differently than y'all, but believe it or not, I'm 260 something. I've gone from almost 300 pounds. I understand what it feels like to be heavy set. I understand what it feels like to be bullied more than anything. This not about her being heavy set. She was bullied because of it, but so was I. I was bullied and I wasn't her size. So all of us who were being bullied didn't want to be bullied anymore. I didn't want to be bullied anymore, so I made a decision to try to team up with the bullies or to be their friend so they wouldn't push me around and they wouldn't let nobody else do it. But I'm showing you a sequence of how trauma starts. And I'm showing you what most of us end up doing. We take the traumas of our past and we become the very thing that hurt us, and we pass it on from generation to generation to generation to generation. And the worst part is all of us are holding on to some unforgiveness, either unforgiveness of the people that bullied us, unforgiveness towards yourself because you gave in to the circumstance. We've all gone through it. I hear it said all the time. Forgiveness is not for the other person. The forgiveness is for you. Well, the forgiveness is for both. We're not here as Lone Rangers. When you forgive yourself, you forgive others. When you forgive others, you forgive yourself. It's supposed to be two-way. Because all of us are going through our work. How many of you are doing life work and your coach, your therapist, your spiritual leader, or whoever, they say to you, hey, when you were an alcoholic, You hurt a lot of people, right? Go back and try to reconcile. What happens when you go and you try to reconcile and ask for forgiveness, and that individual is still so hard and callous from their own pain and their own hurt that they don't accept your forgiveness? And you go on and you got this heaviness on your chest, this heaviness in your heart, because you're trying to get forgiveness from them so you can move on to your next. But they're still in an unforgiving mode. In that moment, if they would have already done the forgiveness work, then they would be more light, more free, more carefree. And then they would have been easily able to accept your request for forgiveness. So literally, forgiveness is for everything. It's for everybody involved. It's for the good of you, and it's for the good of the people that you're going to offend if you don't heal it. And it's for the good of the one who may one day have to come back and say, hey, can you please forgive me? Because I'm doing this soul searching and I'm trying to do right. And I'm trying to walk in the way of God. And I want to apologize to you for the thing I did to you in your life. And you still so cold and hard and you haven't let it go. Forgiveness is not just for you. Forgiveness is not just for you. Forgiveness is for the entire greater whole. Somebody type that in the chat. Forgiveness is for all of us. You can say it like that if you want to. Forgiveness is for all of us. We're going to be like Oprah and we're going to give out forgiveness like we give out cars, like we give out money, like we give out the strength in ourselves, because all of it is a strength. Forgiveness is for all of us. Now, I didn't say all of us. I said all of us. There is no condemnation now unto those who are in Christ. And guess what? Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Joshua. So we're talking about the mind of Christ. Yes, yes, and yes. When I accept the fact that the Christ mind is something I can obtain, then now I don't look at the situation the same. There's now no condemnation. The thing that I have done is forgiven. Well, guess what? The forgiveness is not just for you. So the thing that you have done has been forgiven because you are now in the Christ mind. But while you're in the Christ mind, then that means that you know forgiveness is something that should be given generously. I mean, how do I know? According to scripture. How many times should you forgive them? Come on, somebody answer that question for me. Forgiveness is for all us. I like it. Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. How many times? Who knows the answer to the question? When they came and they asked Christ Joshua, how many times should I forgive them? What was his response? What was the response? Some people will drop off because y'all do not want to hear what it is I got to say. And I get it. I understand. I totally understand. And I ain't mad at you. While I'm waiting for y'all to answer that question, please make sure that you are subscribed to our newsletter at bit.ly/Love Walk Chat. Also, you can become a sponsor or a Love Walk Vision partner by going over to coffee.com/Love Walk Outreach Global. We are absolutely grateful for every partner that partners with us. We pray for you on a continual basis, and you get to help us to spread this vision abroad. Blessings, Miss Donna. Yes, 70 times 7 in a day. Thank you, Kiara. Because some of us might get it mistaken. Yeah, it's generous. 70 times 7. We got to forgive them 70 times 7. So 490 days out of the whole world, times out of all of your existence? No. 70 times 7 times a day. What is he saying? Every single time something get done to you, I need you to work through it and I need you to forgive them. Why? And here's why. Let's go ahead and get into the why. When you forgive, you can also be forgiven. Some people are like, well, I don't need to be forgiven for that much because I ain't really do nothing. I didn't do nothing to people. I didn't do what you... That's self-righteousness talking. Self-righteousness says, I've been offended. I'm going to hold on to this offendedness. I'm not going to forgive them because they deserve whatever comes to them. See, that was the insight in the message of the of the legalists, of the teachers of religious law, of the Sadducees and the Pharisees. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Whatever you do to me, get done back to you. That was the narrative in that time. But Christ, Yahshua came. This is a new mind. And in this new mind, this ain't an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Because guess what? If that be the case, we all would have already been dead. We all would have already been dealing with the consequences of the things that we have done. We all would have been. But forgiveness says that I understand that I too have to somebody had to forgive me 70 times, 7 times a day. Somebody had to overlook the fact that I was grouchy and I snapped on them for no reason. See, I shared this thing and I'm going to say it again. Some people may feel like one offense is greater than the other. The offense is in the eye of the beholder. And this may sound real strange to some people, but it did not offend me more when I was touched. It offended me more when I was rejected. It didn't offend me more when I was touched, molested, people doing things against my will. It offended me more when I was rejected by the one I desired. It made me feel like I wasn't enough. It made me feel like I wasn't what they like. You know what I mean? It getting rejected multiple times, and everybody always choosing the other person. That offended me more. So the offense is in the eye of the beholder. It's not greater than and less than. This might say it may not be something that's palatable for you now. You may have to go back and listen to this episode more than one time. But believe it or not, there are some women or some people in this life who have had people in their life be murdered. And that was not the greatest offense in their life. They were more offended when their spouse cheated. If you don't understand it, that means it's just not your narrative. Offense is in the eye of the beholder. So forgiveness is for all because offenses are not measured. Oh, if y'all taking notes. The offenses are not measured in the eyes of God. The offenses are not measured on a scale of this is bigger than this one. Did I like having my free will violated? No. But what hurt me more is the fact that, hey, so if every boy I like don't like me and they like this other girl, then don't that mean that I'm just not worthy of being liked? So that fed into my next trauma, right? The next actions that I took, the next decisions that I made. Well, if the ones I like don't want to touch me, the ones I like don't want to kiss me, the ones I like don't want to make me their girlfriend, or the ones that I did like, y'all, guess what? Some of them made me their quote unquote girlfriend just so they can make the other girl jealous. Or they made me their quote unquote girlfriend because they were trying to do some touching or do whatever, and they knew that the only way they can do it is to say I was their girlfriend, just so they can leave and go do the same thing with somebody else. Those things were offensive to me more than anything else, feeling like I was not good enough to be chosen. So this is not about the size of the offense. You may think that when you caught an attitude with that person, oh, well, I was just in a bad mood, I'm sorry. And you might think that I'm in a bad mood, I'm sorry, is the end all be all answer. But guess what? You don't know how they grew up. You don't know that all they received from people was a bunch of attitude and nastiness because maybe they grew up in a foster home with a bunch of other angry kids or a bunch of other people who was just there to make their money. You don't know what they experienced in life. So what you think may be the greater offense may have absolutely totally wrecked their day, sent them spiraling out in their traumas. Now, all of us we are all responsible for healing our own traumas. That's the reason why we have to look at forgiveness today from a different perspective. Yes, it's for me. Yes, it's so I could be free from whatever burden got me down. But when I forgive, the greater whole is better for it. We are one. The entire body, and I'm not just talking about Christianity, I'm not just talking about your set religion, I'm talking about God. God is not about your one thing. God is the God of all. God is all. It's an entirety. It's a greater whole. So when I forgive your offenses, I'm healing up a wound. It's for all. Your pain so deep to the point that all you want to see is the offense of another, and you want to hold on to the unforgiveness, and you want to pray that they get what they deserve, and you are just clapping and shouting in church where they say, oh, 1,000 may fall at your right hand, all your enemies, God's gonna make room for you, and he's gonna set a table for your enemies, and you shouting and you dancing because you thinking about all your enemies or all the people who offended you. Pump brakes. Pump brakes. We've all been the villain. We've all been the offender. Forgiveness is for all. Forgiveness heals the land. Forgiveness makes room to say, you know what? You ain't the only person flawed in this life. I done did some flawed things too in my pain. Forgive so that you can be forgiven. Inside the model prayer, it says such. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors, or forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Jesus did not say to the disciples, oh, here, I know I'm so absolutely perfect, so I'm just going to give you this prayer for you because it don't apply to me. No, he gave the example of the prayer because it went for everybody in existence. Behold, all things have passed away. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things are become new. Why? Because I forgave it. Why? Because I healed it. Why? Because I recognize that, you know what? I cannot be the one to cast the first stone because I don't have a right to. When you hold on to unforgiveness against yourself or against another person, you are saying, I am so righteous. I would never do such a thing. What they did was total abomination. It was totally awful. It was the worst thing that could ever have happened. That's self-righteousness talking. Forgiveness is given generously when we realize that we all have need of it at some time or another. And I'm reading this statement where Mari is saying, you know, what she typed in, vengeance is mine, says the Lord, not yours. And here's the beautiful thing about that statement. And let me bring it and make it very clear. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. Vengeance is mine, says God. Vengeance is mine, says love. Why? Because the principle of sowing and reaping is going to work one way or another. We're going to have to take some type of responsibility for what we have done. But we're not supposed to live in that place of shame and guilt. You take the responsibility, whatever comes along with that. If you got to sit in the repercussions of your actions, then you do so. Those who are out here spreading love and giving love even to the captives, they are going to still do that. You're going to have people write you. You're going to have people comfort you. But sitting in the consequence of an action is vengeance. Vengeance is, I'm going to give you this consequence for what you've done. Well, the principles already do that. God is not in the sky pulling out swords and saying, I'm going to slay it. No, he's created principles. And they are universal. And they work for all. Not just you and your crew. Not just your family against their family. The principles work for all. But when we stop and we pause, when we are the ones who have, say, for instance, offended our spouse, or offended our parent, or offended our child, and we have to go and say, hey, I was wrong for that. Please forgive me. They then have the decision of whether or not they are going to let you off the hook or not. What you do unto another will also be done unto you. Today, forgiveness says, you know what? I don't want people taking out their pain on me. But have I ever taken out my pain on someone else? Well, they both happened. I forgive myself from having my ignorant moments where I lashed out because of what I was experiencing on the inside of me. Instead of me healing it, I've let it fester. I become this person that people don't want to be around. This shouldn't bring, I'm not trying to bring you shame today. I'm trying to give you a real look. No shame, no condemnation. Not when you are choosing to think with the mind of Christ. Letting the same mind be in you, which was also in Christ Joshua. When you are seeking ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and that kingdom of God is within you. When you have decided that I'm going to go within and I'm going to allow love to govern me in my kingdom. You make different decisions. You recognize that, yep, I've been offensive too. That means I should be able to give grace a whole lot easier because I remember when I needed it. I remember when I needed somebody to say, you know what? Yep, that was not the best decision to make. And yep, it caused this trickle effect of events to happen. But I forgive you because accidents happen. I forgive you because you probably just was not in the right frame of mind that day. I forgive you because I know what it feels like to wake up in the morning and to just not feel like the day is going to be exciting. And so my actions begin to govern me. I can forgive you because I understand what it means to be the offender, to be the villain, to be the accused. I understand what it feels like to be the mistreated, to be the bullied. So I forgive you for what you've done to me because somebody has had to forgive me for being their bully. Somebody has had to forgive me for making decisions in my pain. I was talking to a young man earlier, my buddy, and I was giving scenarios about how we walk into situations with our eyes wide open. But then when we are offended, we want to blame the other person for offending us. No, I walked into some situations with my eyes wide open. Did I get hurt? Yes. Did I talk to the person about the hurt that they give me because we had this understanding and life was going to be this and that and they went against their word? Yep. We had them conversations too, but I also had to take responsibility for the fact that I walked into it knowing. So I had to forgive myself for walking smack dab into a situation that I knew could possibly hurt me. But I did it anyway. This is not about condoning people's behaviors or offenses. I don't even have the authority to either condone or not condone. You a free will agent. I can say what hurt me, but I can also be reminded, yeah, he who was without a shortcoming, cast that first stone. If you never did anything, most of the time it wasn't that we didn't do anything, it's that we didn't get caught doing it. We don't get caught in our stuff and we hold it in and we don't say anything or whatever. But as soon as somebody does the very same thing, all of a sudden we can remember. We get those stones. Y'all, everything we do here at the Love Walk approach is for introspection. Being honest about our feelings and emotions, absolutely. It hurt. What they did was offensive. Nope, it wasn't okay that they did it. But they did. The question today is, did you allow that unforgiveness in your heart towards them to become the very thing that caused you to be mean? The very thing that caused you to now attack everybody and all of a sudden decide that you're going to withhold your strength from the greater whole? I ain't doing that no more. I ain't giving that away no more. I got to make sure that I keep it for myself. No, it ain't for you. Your strength is not for you. Your strength is to be given. Now, it benefits you, but your strengths, meaning your gifts, your talents, your abilities, your money, your everything, those things are not for you. They are for others to benefit from. So then you are broken within yourself and you hurt. So now you either restrict it, you don't give it freely anymore. You don't give it for bartering. You hold on to it. You got all this pain in your heart. This is a trickle effect of it's a trickle effect of events because you won't forgive. Who's ready to take responsibility for the things that they have not yet healed because they think that somehow they're so self-righteous that forgiveness is not to be given to another? So that means that you are perfect. You've never needed forgiveness. We offer forgiveness generously because, sweethearts, we need forgiveness generously. When we accept forgiveness from another, there's a liberation that comes with that, especially when you're doing your inner work and you know that you were the one that was the offender. How do you know? Because somebody said it. Somebody lashed out and they started screaming on everybody who ever hurt them, and you were one of those people, and then they begin to rant and they begin to rave and they begin to talk about how it affected them, and then all of a sudden you had to face the fact that, God dang it, man, I did do that to them. I did say that to them. I did control their narrative. See, most of the time bullies become bullies because they don't want to be bullied anymore. So then they try to become this hard person, and so they end up lording over another person that has a weakness. Well, that's probably the same thing that happened with your bully. So we can stop at this place and we can say, oh, it was done to me, and I don't think that they deserve to be off, and I think that everybody deserves to. We can say that all we want to, but if it comes to you, there's a whole different situation, because most of the time we don't feel like we deserve the same punishment because we're still harping on, well, if they didn't do this to me, then I would never be this way. Blessings upon blessings of those of you who may be jumping in and out. I am the inspirational treasure. Some call me Apostle Shalonda. Some call me Prophet Shalonda, Coach Treasure, Shalonda Treasure Williams Leonard, the author. Whatever it is that you know me by, we are all here. This whatever treasure you're looking for, we are all here in this space. All of my gifts are used as God sees fit. And in this space, we are teaching the love walk approach. We are teaching the principles that God has given us to coexist in. God is love. There's no respecter of person in that. It is equal for each and every individual, each element, each animal, each whatever. God feels the same about it all because God is the manifestation of it all. So, you want to be forgiven, but you refuse to give forgiveness? It's going to be difficult. Because that what you sow, you reap. So what happens in this moment? We're going to take these deep breaths in a minute, and you're going to do the work to forgive today. You're going to think about all the people that you have a grudge with right now because they're not showing up the way you think they should. They're not doing things the way that you would do it. They don't have the same perspective as you. You feel so much animosity towards them. See, these most of the time are those who become the legalists. The circumcised, as they would call it in scriptures, the circumcision, those of circumcision, often thought that they were better than those that were not. So what do? They begin to punish them, hang them, stone them, cut heads off, all type of stuff in the name of justice. That wasn't justice. That was favoritism. That was favoritism. Yeah, Kiara. We get upset because we didn't get the response we wanted. So we go into our feelings. And see, in this society, and I'm not knocking, therapy and counseling and coaching and things to go through healing, but anybody who has ever coached with me, anybody who has ever gotten spiritualistic counseling for me, it's always both perspectives. You can tell me your story and I'm here to listen because I think that your feelings matter. And the way you were offended and the way it felt to you and all that, I believe all of that matters. But you coming to me because you want healing. You're coming, if you work with me, you're working with me because you want healing. You want spiritual counsel. I can't give you spiritual counsel without giving you love counsel. God is spirit. God is love. They that worship God must do so in spirit and in truth, because he is a spirit and he seeks for those who loves him or who worships him as such. Christ Yahshua said this. So when I'm talking to people who say they're religious, when I talk to people who say they're Christian, when I talk to people who say that they practice any other type of religion, you worship in a spirit. Well, in spirit, which is love, which is God, I can't give you wise counsel without teaching you how to have justice, or sharing with you that justice matters. And this is not just because, oh, it was your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your kids, your husband, your wife that was offended. If your brother, if your family member was in an argument or a dispute with an individual, and your family member hauled out them first, justice is going to be for the individual who was offended. But we don't think this way. We become possessive of a thing. We think that we own the rights to God. We own the rights to every. No, we don't. We are one. Love is not biased. As a matter of fact, it says love rejoices when justice wins out. No respecter of person. Love is no respecter of person. Love is no respecter of persons. But love does advocate. Christ Yahshua stood in the middle of those that they rejected. He stood up for those that were being punished for something, not because that individual did not cause the offense, but because they're not the only ones who cause offenses. Why forgive, Apostle? Why forgive? Why forgive? Why forgive? Because when push comes to shove and you're the offender, you're going to want forgiveness. But the person that sits in court and they take the L on everything they've done and they take ownership for it, many a times their sentence may be lighter because they took the responsibility for it. Didn't have to go to trial. Didn't have to do. They signed a paper. Sometimes they end up getting a lighter sentence, not because they should not have been responsible for their actions, but because when you can take an accountability, we're going to talk about accountability in probably another 3 or 4 episodes. And that's going to be a conversation that you may not want to have to. But we must look at the whole picture. I'm going to forgive you because I know that I have been the villain and the offender in a case. And I pray that when I seek forgiveness from somebody, that they can willingly give it to me. So therefore, I'm going to sow what I want to reap. Therefore, I am going to forgive you because you may not even know at the time that what you were doing was going to hurt me. Why? Because you was in your own head. You was in your own pain. You was in your own perspective that was tainted by what may have happened to you in your past. So I'm not condoning what you did to me. Nor am I asking the person that I offended to condone what I did. What I did, it was not acceptable. It hurt you. What you did hurt me. But the same as I pray to be worthy of the forgiveness of the great I am, the same way I deem you worthy of this forgiveness now. Come on, y'all. Let's get in a position where we can take these deep breaths. We're going to work through a forgiveness exercise or meditation today, affirmation today. We're going to work through it because today we are throwing self-righteousness away. Today we are throwing self-righteousness away. What is self-righteousness? Self-righteousness is looking at yourself like you're in right standing and you're just living this wonderful life, and you just think that what you have done and the things you have presented, oh, it's all good. I've been forgiven. God, I'm his favorite. God loves me so much. He's not going to hold that against me. All these different things you believe in that you are somehow more worthy of forgiveness, of love, of empathy. You deserve to be included. You deserve to be uplifted. You deserve all these wonderful things. You deserve to rejoice over the fall of your enemy. That means that you're blind because you, to someone, are an enemy. And while you're dancing on this side of the church, or dancing on this side of the synagogue, or dancing on this side of the mosque, or whatever you're doing, rejoicing over somebody else's fall, rejoicing over somebody else's pain, you rejoice over somebody going to an electric chair, that means you have total disregard for the fact that their parent, their people are praying that their person can get another opportunity to get it right. Don't mean they shouldn't get consequences for what they've done, but it does mean that the people in their life who love them are praying for their redemption. And if God wishes that none of us would be lost, then who are we to hold a grudge against another individual? Nope. You need to get you some session time and you need to work through the pain. Yes, this hurt me. Yes, it hurt me. Yes, it hurt me. Yes, it hurt me. Yes, I'm hurt. But I ain't self-righteous. I don't condone what they did, but I'm not self-righteous. So I'm going to release them today. Blessings, LaMonica. I'm going to release them today. But you don't know, I don't know how many Medea fans we got in here, but listen, Tyler Perry be spitting some super dope wisdom through Medea. And again, the only where I differ is that I believe that forgiveness is for everybody. Forgiveness is for all. It's not just for the individual that's been hurt. But the wisdom, while they were sitting in, Medea goes to jail. And they were going on and on and on about, oh, you don't know what he did to me, and you don't know what my daddy did, and you don't know what this person did to me. And Medea shut them all up and said, you know what? I can't do this. I can't even stay in here, sit around with all this pity talk and victimization conversations, because it's always, oh, they did this to me and they hurt me and you don't know what they did. And you know, you got to take responsibility for your healing. Yeah, they did it. Yeah, they did it. But when you cheated somebody out of their money, when you didn't care about whether their household had to survive or not, you just wanted a way out. You just wanted to save the money, or you just wanted to say, you know what? I ain't got time. I ain't paying them this. I'm going to get all I can get out of the situation. You see, you don't think that that's too offensive compared to murder, but it was offensive to that person because they couldn't pay their bill. And because they couldn't pay their bill, all of a sudden them and their spouse or them and their children were going through a hard time. Now they're arguing and now they're fighting. Now those children may be having divorced parents because, see, I get where I'm going from here? Every situation bleeds into another one. But when we decide that love, forgiveness, empathy, oneness, inclusion, all of that matters, it's the day that we begin to take accountability. It's the day that we realize that, man, when I hurt another person, I am hurting the very great I am, because God is all. Same way every place at once can't be excluded from anything. So whatever I cause harm to, with my attitude, with my emotions, with my feelings, today we take accountability. Today we forgive ourselves for yielding to the circumstance that caused us to be the offender. Today we forgive ourselves for placing blame on you. This is for those of you who've been blaming yourself too. All of the decisions may have been totally irresponsible. But do we want to heal the land, or do we want to continue to cause it to kill? Amen, Mark. The very breath that you breathe exists in everything else that exists. The trees got breath because God is all. That breath you breathe is the very great I am. Not absent from anything or anybody. It's just the recognition that makes us aware. When you don't recognize that God is all things at the same time, all the time, then you are absent. God is never absent. Love is never absent. Spirit is never absent. Source is never absent. The great intelligence, the great mind, never absent. The absence is in our conscious stance. I feel like God is not near me. That's because you're still holding on to something that tells you that you're separate, that you're not worthy of forgiveness. But today you're going to realize that, yep, you are worthy of forgiveness, but so is the one that offended you. Y'all, come on, let's take a deep breath in. Oh, great I am. Take another deep breath in. Inhale that unconditional love that God has for you. On this third deep breath in, we hold it. In that space of holding our breath, it's a reminder. There's no life if there's no breath. If you hold that breath long enough, if you got something holding it, you fade away. To be cut off from God, to be cut off from love is suffocation. So we hold that breath in remembrance that, man, this breath is everything. This breath is life. And with this next breath, I have an opportunity to be free. With this next breath, I have the opportunity to release everything that has me in chains, that has me in bondage. And the greatest one of those things is unforgiveness. Your marriage ain't really suffering because y'all arguing over money, or y'all arguing over different things. Your marriage is suffering because you won't forgive each other. Because you want to hold on to what they've done to you so much so. And you may not be the one that's causing the offenses in the marriage. But there may be a day where you are. There may be a day where you're going through so heavy, you're going through in such a depressed place that people get your attitude, they get your snappiness, they get your irritability, which causes them to feel rejected, which causes the cycle to continue and the cycle to continue and to continue and to continue and to continue. You never know when you're going to be the offender. And sometimes we hold in unforgiveness for a person simply because they just didn't make the decision that we want to make. They just have a preference that you don't. So you holding a grudge against them because they just don't have the same preference as you. Come on, we're going to release it. So when you take this third deep breath in and you're holding that breath and you're reminded of your new opportunity, you're reminded that there is life in me. And when you release that breath after you hold it, say you hold it for 4 seconds and you release it in gratitude, also release the one that hurt you. All of them. You may have tears. It may hurt bad to think about the offense that they caused against you. But today, with your mind being renewed, so your transformation can happen, so that you can save your soul. Your soul is the seat of your emotions. It's what you think with and choose with and feel with. All of your decisions are affected by what you're holding on into your heart. And so today, when you release it. And you may have to do the same thing tomorrow. You may have to do the same thing in a couple of hours. You may have to do the same thing when you start ruminating again on what they did. But if you want liberty, if you want freedom, if you want to experience salvation, then this is the releasing of all things. This is the crucifixion moment for you where you're nailing it all. It goes. Die to self. Die to that envy. Die to that unforgiveness. Die to that pain. Die to those traumas so that you can resurrect as a new creature. Behold, all things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. So let's take that third deep breath in. Push it out, push it out, push it out. Release it, release it, release it, release it, release it, release it, release it. Scream out your mouth, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. You got it in your mind. You can see them. You can even see what they're doing to you. But where you want to cry and scream hatred towards them, scream it, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. It may be yourself that you're seeing. I forgive you. I forgive you for staying too long. I forgive you for not thinking that you were worthy to leave. I forgive you for not taking accountability for what it is that happened to you. I forgive you for what you did to that individual, the shame you've been holding on to for years. I forgive you. 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 I forgive you, offender. I forgive you, the villain in my life. I forgive you, that monster. You called them all these things over time. Forgive. I forgive you. I forgive you, mama, because you didn't give me the responses that I thought you should. I forgive you, child, because you didn't obey everything I said. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you, daddy, because you left when I really felt like I needed you the most. I forgive you. I forgive you for dealing with your own trauma and pain and refusing to heal it. So today I choose to heal my own pain. Today I choose to forgive. Today I choose to let it all go because I choose liberty. I choose salvation. I choose to rescue self. That's how you let God do his thing. For the kingdom of God is within you. It's an inside work. I forgive. I forgive. It is hard. And yep, you saying it, but you still got that pain whirling around within you. But the more you say it, the more you understand it. I forgive you. I forgive myself. I let you go because I know somebody had to forgive me. We are free. We are free indeed. Forgive. Tamanso. So it's absolutely right, Mari. See, the scriptures give us these understandings, but we begin to run with the things in the scriptures that make everybody else look like the villain and make us look like the righteous. So we don't take scriptures like that and own them. That he who's without sin cast the first stone. Father, forgive so that we can be, we forgive them so we can be forgiven. See, we don't take those scriptures and take them seriously. We don't understand that that's the key to our liberty. It's the key. This is not about magnifying the name without understanding the manner and understanding the way. As a matter of fact, Christ Joshua said it. You say you mine? You say you belong to me? No. Not if you don't follow what it is that I'm showing you. That's what we attach to the name because it sounds good. Because we don't want to die and burn to go to hell. But you already living in hell right now. It's mental. It's emotional. It's heart-based. And you tortured. And your body goes through the changes because you holding on to it all. I know y'all know what I'm saying is real. And sometimes it's hard to be able to face it. But if you want liberty, it's not going to come from you pointing your finger outward. It's not going to come from you getting this attitude of, I don't care nothing about nobody else. This is all about me. It ain't going to change nothing. The pain is still going to be there when you wake up in the morning. What is your decision? I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. I have to forgive people for not understanding the principles. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do, is what Christ Joshua said on that cross. He knew that they were only acting out because of what was going on in their heart. They were taught to be separate. They were taught to kill people and to stone people for causing offenses. And Jesus comes along and tells them to try a different way. They're offended. And we want to get all defensive. Oh, they crucified my Lord. Oh, they did this to Jesus. Oh, they did. Jesus already knew what was coming because he already understood what was in the heart of men. He already understood that there was brokenness there. He understood that they were being trained to hate others, all in the name of the God that they were serving, the idea that they were serving. For me, it was God. I see you and love as synonymous, so I choose to serve you as love. Love means I'm going to have to face myself and take a responsibility for what I've done, but also allow myself to heal from the things that I haven't. But to understand that everybody is having the same experience as me in a unique way. So I forgive myself. I forgive myself. I forgive myself for not healing. Whew. I forgive myself for holding on to the grudges for so long when I was growing up that it made me miss out on the opportunity. Because now I'm looking at everybody that there's the possibility they may reject me. So now people who meant me well probably got totally dismissed or mistreated. I talked about bullying. Y'all have heard me tell a story about my husband and my sister-in-law when we were growing up. Our parents used to date. That's how we met. My husband says that he's loved me since I was 9. Pigtails and all. He thought my attitude was cute. But my attitude was because I was tired of being pushed around, tired of being rejected, tired of being bullied. Now hear me what I'm saying. I was tired of being rejected. I was tired of being mistreated. I was tired of being bullied. And here is this young man at 11 years old who thinks I'm the prettiest thing that he's ever seen. He took my attitude where somebody else was affected by my attitude in a negative way. He saw the attitude, but to him, it was attractive. He saw me as I was and thought it was attractive. So therefore, he was not rejecting me. He was trying to pull me close. But I rejected him because of my pain. My sister-in-law, which is just my sister, that's what I call her, because we just been close since we were kids. She was 8, I was 9. They were so happy-go-lucky, so cheerful, and I just did not understand how you can be so happy. Obviously, they must not be getting bullied and mistreated by people because they so happy and they so upbeat, and so now the bully in me comes out, pushing them around. All the frustration and anger that's on the inside of me as this little kid that's being pushed down on the ground, getting jumped on, getting jumped by multiple people at the same time, getting my hair pulled, all of that aggression. I didn't know that I could let it out. I could share it. I could say it. And it turned into anger. And it turned into resentment. I started resenting people who were happy because I didn't get it. We all still loved each other over the years. I wouldn't date Marco for all of our life because I knew that I was broken. I knew that I had become mean. I didn't want to hurt him. So I guess in my own way, I was trying to think about his feelings. So no matter how many advances, y'all hear me again, I was rejected, but now I'm doing the rejecting from somebody who wasn't rejecting me. He was willing to be that even as a kid. But my pain turned into me giving the same exact energy to somebody else. So why can I forgive my bullies? I can forgive my bullies because I understand what it took to get to being a bully. I don't know who abused them at home. I don't know who rejected them at home. I don't know who made them feel small at home. I don't know if they was getting beat up by the neighborhood kids, so they would come to school and try to assert that authority of me. I don't know. But I do know what it felt like growing tough skin. I do know that I got tired of being pushed around, so I became the very thing that hurt me. I can forgive them because I know what the process was to get there. Maybe a year or two ago, maybe 2 years, we were at a family event and my sister-in-law was there. And because I'm always heart searching and just asking God to show me stuff, I just decided to go to her and ask her, like, sis, did I hurt you growing up? Did I hurt you? Did me bullying you? Me, because I wasn't always bullying them. We had a lot of fun together too. But when I would get in my feelings and get angry and I didn't want them around and I would push them away. Come on, y'all, we taking accountability. I can't wait till we get to this accountability conversation, because I don't know if I'm gonna skip ahead or what, because I feel like we just need to have that so we can finish out the rest of this. But I had to take accountability. It was up to her whether she wanted to forgive me or not. But she said it. She was like, sis, it happened. It hurt me. But I grew tough skin after a while, and then eventually I had to heal, and I had to just forgive it and let it go. Her forgiveness allowed for us to still be close. Her forgiveness means that I could go to her house right now or lay across her bed as my sister. But she had to forgive me for hurting her. And I had to forgive myself for hurting her, because it was never my intention to hurt another person or to do to them what was done to me, but I didn't know how to respond any other way. Come on, y'all, we got to be real about this stuff. We can't just lay on the couch or sit in the chair and blame everybody else for our stuff. We all have inflicted pain in some way, shape, or form. And the reason is because we've all gone through some type of trauma. It's just time to heal it now. And this is our salvation. See. God is the breath. God is all of it. We've been taught for so long that God is a separate thing from us. God is not separate. God is the same. God is everything. We are the manifestation. We are the word made flesh. All of us, everything. And the issue is that that's why we see in separate visions. That's why I see you, you see me, and we see separatism. But there is none. We're just showing up as unique reflections, trying to work back to this oneness that Christ Joshua tried to get us to understand. There's only one organism that exists. There's only one presence that exists. It just exists in different reflections. We can try to understand it from the way that we understand it, but that's the thing that keeps us stuck. When I see you, I need to see God made manifest in all things. Would I intentionally hurt God knowing that I was hurting God? No. So when we begin to be transformed by the renewing of our mind, our actions change. Our mindset changes. Being transformed by the renewing of our minds. Being what? Transformed. 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 Never to be the same again. Is there such thing as partial forgiveness? Is there such thing as partial forgiveness? I don't know that there is. I believe there may be stages of forgiveness, right? Where you're starting off and you take accountability and you say, or accountability, and you look at the situation as a whole. You can remember what they did to you. You begin to look at the situation, but you hear this teaching and you say, you know what? Yes, they offended me. Yes, this made me feel this way, but I understand that something led up to their actions because I know that something led up to mine. You use empathy in that regard. You begin to look at things from a different perspective. And so you're starting the process. You may not at that moment just be able to say, I'm going to throw this away, right? The scripture says that love holds no account of wrong. There go forgiveness again. It holds no account of it. That's that 70 times 7. Holds no account. So I don't think that there's partial forgiveness, because if you're holding no account of wrong, then that means there's no record of it. Somebody might say, we say stuff like, I forgive you, but I ain't going to ever forget. Okay. Don't never forget it. Hold on to it. Let it do whatever it's doing on the inside of you. And I mean, as humans, we will probably at some point see something similar to what we've gone through, and we may feel triggered by it. But can I be honest with you? Eventually, the more you do that forgiveness work and you put it out there every single day, and y'all have heard me pray the prayer, and I still do in my own time. God, forgive me for everything that I've ever done wrong against you or anyone else, knowingly or unknowingly. And I pray, Father, that they have the same grace to receive your forgiveness and to give it. But this is so that the entirety of it can be thrown away. I guess my counter question would be, do you want partial forgiveness? Or do you want complete, total forgiveness for the things that you've done to offend another? And that was a general question for all, not just directed at Ms. Mari. But the stages are still active based on the fact that I am trying to totally release this stuff. So in that moment, you've already chosen to forgive. Now you're just working through your emotions in the process. That's what the stages is for. You're being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so now you're taking that renewed thought, you're replacing the old one. But your process is to release them from their offense. That's what grace and mercy is. Mercy is literally forgiveness in a box. I forgive your debt. I let that debt go. The debt you have against me, the thing you've done, I let it go. The story about the king and the man that owed him money, that was a story of forgiveness. The king brings him in and he forgives his debt. He said, go, no worries. You owe me, but I'm not going to kill you for it. I'm not going to imprison you for it. Just go. But as soon as he walks out those gates, he sees somebody who owes him less money. And he hems him up. And he wants to choke him out or punish him or whatever for the money that he did not give, because now he's walking with this anxiety. I owed the king money and I couldn't pay the king money. Why? Because you didn't pay me my money, or whatever the case might be. But he inflicted pain or harm now. You just been released from your debt, a greater debt. But as soon as you have been released, forgiven, shown mercy, you went out there and you then held all these grudges against this person, so much so that you hurt him because he owed you money. Well, guess what? What happens is now the king finds out about this action. Oh, I released you from your debt. I forgave you, but you can't show forgiveness to them. Oh, okay. So now let me go ahead and throw you in prison, or let me do what I need to do to you, and you got to still get me my money. Forgive and it shall be forgiven. Forgive so that you can be forgiven looks just like this. When he left out of that meeting, that encounter with the king, he walks out, he sees this man that owes him money, that same love, that same grace, that same mercy. He should have extended to the next individual, but he didn't. And so because he didn't, he had to then be held accountable for his offenses. So We just had this moment. We just released it. We just said our forgiveness messages. But if you go back to ruminating on everything bad that somebody has ever done and you have not made the decision to forgive, you just went through the motions. When you make the decision to forgive, then your everyday conversation, every time you pray, every time you sit in meditation, every time something happens, you are practicing forgiveness. It's a decision and it's a choice. All right, y'all. So before we go, and I think maybe I'll do this on every episode, but for those of you who are here, because I want you to share this broadcast again, but I want you to tell me in the chat right now what's going to be your caption when you share this broadcast. First of all, make sure that you put at the bottom, hey, come on over here, like and subscribe to the channel so that you can be present for every other Love Walk approach episode that comes up. But what's going to be your quote? Say you quote me on something. What's the thing that was the well-dang moment for you? What's the thing that you took in that helped you to see yourself and your actions and what you're going to do from this day forward? What are you going to do different? What are you going to apply from this message? I want you to type it in chat. Show me what it is. And then after you type it in chat, go ahead and copy it so you can click share while we're still live and say, hey, I experienced the Love Walk Approach podcast today. And this is what I took away from it. This is the quote that stuck out to me the most. But if you want to know more, go ahead and tap in, listen to it, take some notes, and then share what your aha moment is or your well-dang moment is. I told y'all before, and I don't know who was here to listen to the first episodes, but we are going to build this podcast, build this following organically. That means that I want people to come in here who you can testify to yourself because you gained something in this space. So what's going to be your caption when you share this broadcast in a few seconds? Share it with me. Share it with me. Share it with me. Share it with me. Forgiveness, 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 forgiveness. It may feel tough, but it's necessary. It's necessary. It's necessary for your well-being. It's necessary for your peace of mind. It's necessary if you say that you are a follower of Christ Joshua. It's necessary if you say that you believe and you trust in God. It's necessary. I want to be free, free, free. So forgiveness I give generously. Forgiveness I give generously. I want to be free, free, free. Y'all can see I'm just making noise until I see y'all comments come up here in this chat. Ooh. Ooh. Mm. Mm. Yeah, I will definitely probably like. I'm working on just recording things as I hear them because y'all know it's all inspired. It's in the moment. How many of you were able to listen to my New Balance? That's the name of the new inspired spoken word track that I released, a couple of weeks ago. It's called My New Balance on the Inspirational Treasure YouTube page. Go ahead and tap in. See if you can relate to something that has been said. All right, y'all, I'm waiting. Don't forget to go to bit.ly/Love Walk Chat to register for our mailing list so you can be informed whenever I send out communications. Love Walk Vision partner or sowing a seed. And Ms. Mari, I did see that you said you sowed a seed that you gave, and I'm sure that was through Zelle, right? More than likely it was through Zelle. Whatever it was, I'm grateful. I appreciate you being a Love Walk Vision partner in that regard. It don't make y'all. We don't have no membership here. We're just here, love walking and love reaching. So if you become a Love Walk Vision partner, it doesn't mean that you're signing up for a membership or anything like that. It just means that you believe in the mission, you believe that this movement is necessary, and that you want to help. That you want to help. I assume that any minute they're gonna start popping up. And because there's a lag behind in these videos, you may already have posted it and you're hearing me talk about this like, I did post mine. But if I'm saying it right now, that means I'm not seeing it yet, but I'm waiting. What's going to be your caption? What's your takeaway from today that you're going to share when you share this podcast? What's your takeaway? Ooh, 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 mm, mm. Oh, so while I am waiting still, let me go ahead and announce it. If you are not already following us on the YouTube page, my Inspirational Treasure YouTube page, and you want to make sure that you are present for this next 30 days, well, not the next 30 days, but from June. I'm fumbling, y'all, because I'm trying to type and talk at the same time. But if you are ready to track this journey with me, right? I know on the 31st of this month, I will be receiving an honorary doctorate degree as nominated by my spiritual daughters, Destiny and Taisha, and my team who rallied around us in this time. And so we are receiving our honorary doctorate, and I was going to release a book on May 31st, and the name Love as the Master Healer is the name, but it started off where I was going to do it as a dissertation of sort, right? A research-based thing where I start talking about love as the master healer, and just pretty much bringing more research and saying what other people have thought and what other people have experienced. And I will probably touch on some of their philosophies as well, or their mindsets. But God redirected me, which often that happens. And so I'm releasing the book on my birthday again this year, July 11th, 2025. I'll be releasing the book, but the title of the book is now Love as the Master Healer, a spirit solistic journey to wholeness. And inside this book, I'm going to literally be sharing with you from a very real perspective, not just what I think love is, but what love has been to me. I started out, of course, with saying that I believe that God and love is synonymous. So I love God. That's just, I'm a spiritual person. I'm spiritual. My gifts are in spirituality, and creativity. Those are my heightened gifts. And so I absolutely love God. And I learned about God and I learned about love as I looked at the example of Christ Yahshua. And so I do share from my experience. I share how I experienced love through that perspective, how my heart healed, my mind began to change and be transformed, how much of the depression that I've experienced over my life in my adulthood, or over at least over the last 6, 7, maybe 10 years, has not been anywhere near the depression and the sadness and the pain that I experienced growing up. But much of that came because I had to take accountability. I had to begin to see God as just the God of love. I had to understand God from my perspective. I had to understand that God gave me free will. And sometimes the decisions that I made begin to cause the rest of my life to take on whatever form it took. But love was still present. Never left me, never forsaken me. Every single time I went to that altar to cry out about something that I just did the night before, because I was living in so much guilt, shame, and all of that, love was still with me. There were no conditions. Thank you, Ms. Mari. And so I'm going to walk you through it. But from June 1st through June 30th, go ahead and like and subscribe that Inspirational Treasure YouTube page, because I will be showing up there either with a pre-recorded message, or I will be going live one way or another every day. There's going to be something posted where I start giving you little tidbits. Y'all have heard some of my story, but now y'all are going to listen to my story from the perspective of how love is the master healer in my life. And so I believe that the best way for me to coach, the best way for me to be a spiritual leader, the best way for me to live in my creativity and my abilities is to give everybody a real look. We're going to talk about mental health disorders. We're going to talk about sexual orientations. We're going to talk about me accepting myself as is, no longer beating myself down and burdening myself down based on a bondage narrative. We're going to talk about church. We're going to talk about fear-based teachings, things that made me so afraid of God that there's no way I could have accepted his unconditional love because I was too scared. It wasn't reverential fear either. It was scared. So scared of being punished, burned in fire and brimstone that I did not look at the hell that I was already living in and allow love to heal it. So we're going to have a real conversation, but you must be following me on that particular page. Go ahead and like and subscribe it. So from June 1st to June 30th, we're going to be sharing that. And on July 11th, 2025, we will be releasing the book, Love as the Master Healer, A Spiritualistic Journey to Wholeness. You can still pre-order the book right now, which I do encourage you to do. You can pre-order. You can order as many copies as you want, because you may want to share this book with someone else and y'all read through it together. bit.ly/love as the master healer. You can go ahead and you can pre-order your book there. I encourage it. So let me see. Did I get it? I did. Anybody? So I guess y'all just don't plan on sharing it, or you just didn't want to say what you took away from today. But I digress. I can't force you to. But I do see Destiny's forgive you, forgive others for your total healing. Listening for revelation. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Destiny. So I'm going to go ahead and let everybody go. I pray that you've enjoyed today's conversation. I know that there's some emotions that may be popping up, some resistance. You may in your head be like, well, I don't think that that's right. I don't think that I need to forgive them for what they did. They need to doggone deal with their own stuff. If that's where you still are, it's okay. But make sure that you count the cost of holding on to that. All right, that's all. I love you just because I can. Thank y'all for joining me. Be back here next Sunday at 4:21 p.m. Eastern Time for the Love Walk Approach, episode 5. We are now going to speak about valuing oneness. Now, a lot of these conversations are going to seem like they're redundant, and because love is just literally what love is. And so a lot of the conversations, we're going to bring up some of the same points and bring it all together. But when we talk about oneness, what do you think of? That's what I want you to sit with this week right here. What do I think about oneness? How do I value oneness? And then we're going to have this conversation next week. Many blessings to each and every one of you. I'll talk to you again soon.